So now we have the recording started. So welcome to our first session and Build It Yourself, I can say training bootcamp, we can name it, or yeah, the 2 weeks of training that we are going through. We are going to have,
Yes.
as I said, 3 days this week, and we are going to have another 3 days next week, and then we will wrap it because I think it will be the eighth time. So I hope that in these 2 weeks we can cover as much as possible and software development and app development and understand the process, understanding what uh, are you guys are going uh, to be working on, not now, but in June, as we mentioned before. So these 2 weeks mainly are going to be about understanding the software development, understanding the app development, understanding the full cycle, and knowing what is waiting for you. Now, once we finish these 2 weeks, you can, it is up to you. If you want to work on something meanwhile until June, it's okay, and we can keep sharing updates on WhatsApp. That is fine for me. If you want to keep it on the side until June, that also is fine for me. So it depends on how we go through these sessions and how you engaging with the sessions and how you maybe feel the interest. And then at the end of these 2 weeks, we can discuss again on how we are going to go through the period between the end of the spring break until June. So today's session is about actually, it's an introduction to the software development. I hope that I will be able to give you a glimpse on um, the nice world, I can say, of coding and how creativity is added to that and how actually the apps are are developed and are published into the stores. So let me just go to the second page. Okay. So what is software development? Uh, Software development is the process. It's a process of creating. So there is something that we create, something new that we create, and then we test it, and then we maintain it. So it's very important to understand that creating an application and publishing it into the store is not the end of the game, I can say. It's not the end of the story. No, you keep doing maintenance for the applications, and this when I say maintenance, you all of have phones, have PCs, and you see that these updates that come regularly to your devices, like your phone will ask you to update, and then you click update. Once you click update, actually you are updating your software. So the software of the application of the phone or the device that you are using, when you click on update, it means that the code is updated in the phone or in the device. And this is the continuous process in the application development or in the software development. So whenever you do software development, if you don't keep updating it, it means it will be um, applicable for, I can say, any hacking or any security issues, because not updating your code for a while, meaning that you are losing, I think, part of the security, and you are not keeping update with the new trends, meaning that the software and application development UX and UI design is developing on a daily basis or on a regular basis, I can say, and not updating your application on regular basis, meaning that you are losing the quality in your application, because um, soon or later you will have an application which is dead. And I think we have all gone through this, where you use an application and you think, blah, what is this application? Why it looks like this? And it means that this application was not updated for a good while or a good time. Please stop me at any time if you have any question. So the software development is including writing the code, designing a solution, and fixing bugs. See, no application or no software is perfect from the first time. So now when you are going to work on build it your self application, you will launch the first version of it and it will have a lot of bugs. And you will be keen on people to test it, to use it, and they will give you feedback. And once you get the feedback about any bugs that is there, you need to do corrections, and then you do you launch the update and you update the application, and this is a continuous process as we mentioned before. And you need to ensure that your software is actually meeting the user requirements and the quality standards. These two components is very important for any software developer or any software company, because if you don't meet the user requirements, you will lose the user, and if your quality is not that good, the user will delete the app as soon as possible once he get frustrated. So this is in nutshell is the software development definition, I can say. Also, I have mentioned a reference below and down in the slide. And this reference is having a good wiki page that if you go through, you will be able to read more on about the software development. And going through these wikis and also this book that I have, which is mentioned here, The Programmatic Programmer. It's one of the good books for the beginners and software development. It will give you a glimpse about software development, and it offers invaluable insights into the craft of software creation. Really, these two authors, Andrew Hunt and David Thomas, have done a good job by launching this, by publishing this book. So I just encourage you to go through these references. Any questions for until now? All good?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's good.
Okay, so why we learn the software development? So there are three points in my opinion for anyone to learn the software development. The first one is the career opportunities. So the software development, the careers in the IT field is actually booming, and we can see that how the AI and all these stuff are booming now. And this career opportunities will open the world for you. So whatever the domain that you choose to work on, even if you go to study medicine or to study um, any business or marketing, at the end of the day, you are going to use a software. So if you know a technical bit more than the other people, if you know how the software development is happening, you will have an advantage on your colleagues or on your peers, because you know how the application or the software is working actually, how it was developed. So having this skill is important, in my opinion, and it will offer you good jobs, good salaries, whatever you name it. The second point
I
is,
have a question.
yes.
I heard from my friends they're trying to, or not from my friends, I say from like people I know. They studied computer engineering,
Uh-huh.
and then when they want to go for career opportunities, they say it's
It
hard
is
to
very
find
hard.
jobs
Yeah.
because
Yeah, yeah.
they're
I can answer on this question. So, see, I think Marina have asked the question, correct?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Marina, see, remember that in your class there will be like 50 other students who are studying computer engineering. Okay? And these 50 students, all of you will be studying the same material, will be studying the same course. So if you don't choose to add something more to your experience or your career through the university, meaning that you go and you do an external course, or you go and participate in the IT club, or you do and you start developing some projects from your mind, okay? Or you go to someone and you see that someone needs a project. All these additional steps that the student will take in the university, it will help him later to go to the market directly. But if you depend on the university only and on the courses on the classes that you will take in the university without adding an extra effort, then you will suffer for sure, because the market is having a lot of people who are IT graduates, okay, and all of you will be having the same skill set. I mean, all of you have studied the same material. So adding these additional things that I have mentioned will help you to get a job for sure.
Is it is it true that it's hard to go like to work for any businesses? Like I've been told that businesses like Apple, Samsung, everything that has to do with like technology, they've been closing career opportunities for people. They
Yeah,
have their fixed
yeah,
circle of ITs, and so
yes.
right now they're not accepting people to come
No,
and join.
it is not like this. I can tell you that yes, IT companies nowadays are laying off people. That's correct. They are firing up people. But why they are doing this? They are closing certain departments which they think it's not going to be profitable for the business. For example, I was personally laid off and on 31st of January. I was working with one of the leading tech companies in the country, and it's a German company, okay? And why they have choose to lay off people? Because they think that for certain departments, it's not important to be available in a certain country, or it's not needed anymore because you can see how AI is impacting the life. So most of the IT companies is firing or laying off people who are not in need anymore because they are replacing them with AI. But remember that,
Yeah.
okay, so they are laying off people, but now they are using AI, correct? So for sure you will need an AI
Yeah.
expert. So studying AI, for example, is a good entry for the coming market. So it does not mean that you have studied computer engineering that you will not find a job or you will be fired, but it meaning that you need to add a profile that is needed by these tech companies like Microsoft.
Anything that makes you unique.
Makes you unique and makes you going with the trend. So what is the trend today? It's AI. It is security. It's cyber security.
Yeah.
So you need to be uh, building yourself or building your profile in these areas. And whenever, see, the IT domain is very changing. Okay, it's very evolving. So you need to be always updating yourself. Because if you don't update yourself,
Yeah.
you will be out of the market. Is it clear? I hope that,
Yes.
that
Thank
my
you.
answer is good. I mean, it makes sense for you.
Yes, it does. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. So as I said, why learning software development? First, as I said, the career opportunities, and I think we have mentioned more here. The second point is the impact on technology and everyday life. So remember that whatever thing you do in software development is going to be used by a lot of people if it's succeeded. So for example, if you build this app, build it yourself, and a lot of people start actually uh, using your app to build their furniture or to arrange their furniture. So just think of the impact that you are having on the people lives. Imagine how many families will use the application, how many families will save money because they are not calling a handyman to do the job for them. They are using your application. So the impact on technology and everyday life of people is really something that will amuse you when you think of how many people are using your application. I remember when I was you working with the Entertainer, the famous app in Dubai here, the saving app. So I used to work for them and I was every day analyzing the data for the management team and for the marketing team. And every day I was able to analyze around transactions, which is done by 2 million people. Imagine how the analysis that I was doing was able to uh, um, improve the experience for these people who are using the entertainer. So always when you are doing something in the technology special, remember the effect or remember the impact that you will leave on the other people's lives, and this will give you the satisfaction which is needed when you are doing something. And this is the second point. The third point is the personal growth and creativity. It's working in the IT, working on the software development field is really something that will make you unique and will make you a person who and others will come to discuss with about. I have a lot of people who are calling me every day. They want to build an app. I want to build an app. I have an idea. Can you help me? So the personal growth and also your career and your profile will be somehow I can say respected. So people will respect you because you are working on the IT field. And also the more that you work on your building your profile and building your expertise, This will add to your growth and your creativity, and this will for sure impact your family at the end, because the personal growth that you are having is something that you add credibility to you, to your person and to your family. I mean, your parents will be proud of you, your spouse or in the future will be proud of you, your kids will be proud of you. So remember just that software development is a field that will really add to your personal life and will add also to your career life. Any questions? Okay. So let's come to something a little bit more theory here, but it's very important to understand this process here, which is in front of you. So in the software development world, we have something called the software development life cycle. And the life cycle of anything is something that you go through and you repeat it. So and the life cycle of the software development is starting with the planning. And this is something nearby to a slide deck that you have prepared for Build It Yourself. So you start planning, you start doing the timeline, you start doing the financials. All this is the initial stage of the software development. You define the scope of your software project. You identify the stakeholders, who is your target. You define the project requirement and the potential constraints that you have. What is the limitations that you are going to have? And also it is a crucial phase, because if you don't have a good plan, you are planning to fail. You got me? If you don't have really a good plan, you are planning to fail. And this is actually does go with anything in life. If you don't have a good plan for anything that you want to do in life, then you are planning to fail. The second phase is the design phase, and it's also an important phase, because here you build the architecture. See, as you see, when someone wants to build a house, they go to the construction firm, and there is an architect, and this architect will do this blueprint, or he will do the drawing of the house, correct? A similar thing is there in the software development. We have an architect. So if you go through LinkedIn and you search for technical architect, you will see a lot of jobs which is asking for architects, but these architects are not the architects who do buildings, but they are the architects who do the software architecture. And what does it mean to have a software architecture? It means that you are planning the software structure, the features, the user interface. All this is part of the design phase. And you are also designing the requirements and identifying the it's exactly, you at the end you will have a blueprint, you will have I can say a document that will tell you exactly how your application or your software will look like. And this design document is used in the later stages for the development and testing and the deployment and the maintenance. So this is a very important document. If you don't have a well prepared design document, then maintaining your app will be something that you will suffer to do. Developing the app will be something that you will suffer. Why you will suffer developing the app? Because you have something in your mind, but you don't have it in the document, and then you hand over the requirements to the developers, and they don't find it in the document, then they do anything from their heads. But this is not the correct thing. You need to have a document, and this document will be the agreement between you and the developers. So whenever you come to a feature and you see it does not work as you expected, you will go back to the design document and you'll say to the developer, see, it is mentioned in the design document, why you didn't do it in the way that it was mentioned. But if it's not mentioned, then it's your fault. Okay. Then we go from the planning to the design, then the development phase, and it's very important. The development phase is, I think, the phase that will take most of your time, because building something is not easy, and you will have a lot of I can say components, and it depends on the features. That's why in the software development we always say, whenever you are building a product or a software or an app or something, or web app, whatever, go for something which we call the MVP, the minimal viable product. What does it mean? You go for the important or the main features. You don't go to the nice to have features. You don't put the nice to have features in the first run or the first development, because it will take you more time, and it will take of your efforts, and it will take of your time, and it will take from your money, which is set at the budget that you have for the project. So if you have too much features and then you launch it and then no one uses the app, then you have lost a lot. But if you go for the minimal viable product, which is the product which is having the main features, then you launch it and you test the water. You see if it's going to succeed. I mean, people started using it. Okay, nice. Now we can add the nice to have features. You start to make your app more sophisticated, more user friendly, more engaging, whatever. So the development phase is an important phase. In this phase, the developers will start working on the development of the app based on the documents, the design document. And once the development is done, it will be reviewed by the architecture. The architect will go through the code, will go through the screens, will go through the design. And in this phase, some companies will require an implementation document. So we'll have a design document, we'll have an implementation document. And then you just compare the implementation document with the design document. And if there is any gap, then you ask the developer to cover the gap. Once the development is signed off, then we move to the testing phases. And the testing phase is very important, and usually it will be having two, I can say, two sub phases. So we have the first test, which is we call it the first integration test, the FIT. And you will hear this terminology in the IT field. So they will ask you, did you do the FIT? What is the FIT? The first integration test is the test that is done by the I can say the super user in the development team. So in the development team, you will have experienced developers and you will have junior developers. Usually the experienced developers or the project manager or the product owner will do the testing. And once they sign on the document, then we move to the target people and we do the second acceptance test. And usually the second acceptance test is done by professional testers. So you create something called the test cases. So for every feature, you need a document which is called the test case. And this test case will be having the exact steps to run a feature. So for example, if you are build it yourself and you have a feature to test to have an augmented reality, then you explain exactly in a document how to use the augmented reality feature, going step by step, screen by screen. Now you hand over this document to that professional tester. They do the testing. Usually, you will hire an outside company to do this job. So you will not do it by your own team because already they have a mindset. Okay. So you hire a testing company. They will do testing for your application. And if it's accepted, then the second acceptance test is done. Now we have reached the testing closure. It's signed off. Everything is fine. Now we go to the deployment. Deployment meaning that you publish your application or you publish your web app to the hosting server. And after publishing it, you just make it available for the end users. Meaning in your case, Build It Your App will be available in iOS and Android phones. So you will publish or you will deploy. So publish or deploy is the same terminology. You will publish your app to the iOS store and to the Android store. Now, publishing and deploying is something that hectic because it goes to the rules which is each provider is having. So to set up an Android account and get verification and get accepted for deploying the app, it will take you around 2 weeks or 1 month. And I think it will take you more in the iOS side for the first time. So all this you need to think of. Now you have deployed and everything is fine. Your app is in the store. People started downloading it and starting using it. And then you will start getting feedback. You will start getting, what we can say, you will need to have a channel for the people to do complaints or to call the customer service or to send you an email with any issues in the app. And once you receive the issues, you start building a backlog, and this backlog will help you to be able to maintain the application, meaning you fix the issues and then you update the app in the store. And this is the full cycle of the software development life cycle. Any questions? Too much?
No questions. Everything's
All good?
good.
All good?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but by practicing the development, all these steps will be, I can say, natural to you. But yeah, for the first time, it will be hectic, but hopefully I will support in every step. So I have been doing development for the last 6 years. So I have been doing this every quarter in each year. So I have done around, let's calculate. So 6 by 4, around 24 developments I have done, 24 projects I have launched in the last 6 years. Going through all these steps. Okay, so this is just an illustration of what we have talked about. Replace the planning with the analysis here in your mind. UI UX design is the design, the implementation, testing, deployment, and maintenance. And I have put for you a good resource. This is a LinkedIn page that will help you to understand more the software development life cycle. It's really good. Just go through it. I think I'm not sure. I think I've mistakenly mentioned it's a Wikipedia, but this one is a LinkedIn page. Okay. Okay, so now we have understood the software development life cycle. We have understood why software development is a career good to go through. We have understood what is actually software development. Now let's come to the programming languages. So to be able to do software development, you need to use a programming language. And why is that? Because as humans, we talk in our own human language, but to be able to communicate with the device, with the software, the system, we need to talk its language or their language. So I have just mentioned 3 languages here, which I think, in my opinion, are the most common languages nowadays. So I didn't mention C or C++ because it's becoming old now. So Python, JavaScript, and Java. Python is the most common used language nowadays. It's used to do the web and software development, and also for scientific computing, the data analysis, artificial intelligence, and automation. So learning Python, if you would like to invest in yourself, if you would like to go into the software development, just to start learning Python. There is a lot of online resources that you go through. You can go to Udemy, you can do it. I can share with you some resources that will help you to learn Python if you are interested. So if someone of you is interested to learn Python, just mention it in the WhatsApp and I will just share a link to good resources. So what is Python? It's uninterrupted high-level language with dynamic semantics. It's really easy. It is having its terminology is more like human natural. So like you are just typing normal human words, I can say. And even the way you write the language is easy. And it's already prized for its readability and simplicity. So if you want a simple language and it's readable, just go for Python. Now, when on the other side, on the right, we can see Java. Let's wait for JavaScript for now. Java is a platform independent, so it does not work on a certain platform. So you can run Java on any platform actually. And it's object-oriented programming. And the terminology of object-oriented is something which is a lot of people find hard because it does implement the inheritance properties of the humans, and it's somehow a little bit difficult at the beginning, but once you understand it, it will become easy for you to know how the inheritance is happening, how the object-oriented thing is happening, how the objects creation is happening. So the good about Java is that you write it once and you run it anywhere. So it's like a language that you can run on any device. That's why a lot of our devices actually is using Java. And that's why whenever there is a a bug or there is a hacking, I can say, opportunity on Java, then you will hear a lot of noise behind it because Java is actually in all our devices. So it's really hard whenever there is an issue in the language itself. A lot of things will get hurted. So for example, if you hear about the hacking, which has happened in a lot of airports around the world or the banks, most commonly it will be a Java hacking. So it's commonly used in the enterprise level. That's why I said banks. And also it's used in Android app because Google have choose Java as the language for the Android environment. The web servers and application servers, these are more technical things that you understand once you start coding. Okay, so we talked about Java, we talked about Python. Now JavaScript is something which is a scripting language, but it's used to add interactivity to the web pages. So when you go into any web page and you just hover above the button and the button starts flashing, or you go through, like if you are buying from any store and you hover above the image of the dress or something that you want to buy and it become large, this is because of the JavaScript code that is written there. So all the beautifying of the web pages and the applications that we see is a JavaScript code. Cool. So these are the programming languages that I wanted to mention here, but there are more, a lot more, and you might find another languages that interest you more than these. But yeah, Python is number one. And now I think Java is still used widely, and JavaScript is everywhere. Okay. Any questions? We are good. Okay. Tools of the trade. Okay, so once we move to work on the practical side of it, you will start using something called the IDE. What is the IDE? It is the integrated development environments. All the icons or all the logos that you see in the above the integrated development environment is an IDE that is used. So what is the IDE? It's a software suite actually. It will have a combination of tools like a code editor. You can write a code and it will have a compiler. What is the compiler? So whenever you write a code, remember that the computer language is not the human language, and it's also not the language that the programming language talk. Like if you type start or whatever you learn in the school, when you write a code, it's written in a human text. It's written in English text, but remember that the computer is understanding zeros and ones at the end of the day. So the compiler mission is to transfer the programming language from this text into the zeros and ones that will allow the computer to process the actions that you have requested. You got me? Okay. And the debugger on the other side, which is also part of the IDE, is something that will help you to debug, meaning going through the code line by line and seeing the actions to find any issue. So for example, if you have an application and you have a screen that is going to another screen, but when you click on the button, it does not go to the other screen, it means you have an issue here. So what do? You start going in the code line by line to see where exactly the issue is happening. And to do so, you need something called a debugger into one interface. So the IDE is actually combining all these, the code editor, the compiler, and the debugger in one place, which is simplifying and enhancing the process of writing, which is helping us to write the code. And in our case, when you come to do coding for the build it yourself app, most probably that you will use React Native. React Native is some language which is look-alike JavaScript. So React Native is something I can say it's like JavaScript, but it's more rich. And I think you will use that to build your app, because the good thing about React Native that you can write it for both iOS and Android, and then the compiler, I can say, or the generator that is there in the language itself will convert the, the app to the native language of the operating system. So remember that your Android phone is having Android operating system, and your Apple phone is having iOS operating system. So each of these operating systems is having different file system or different system to run the apps. So to be able, if you want to write a native app, meaning that you want to write it in a native language of these operating systems, it will take you time, and it will take you double the time, because you need to write a different app for Android and different app for iOS, and to go to, I mean, not to go into this and not to suffer from this, we use a language that's common for both and can run on both, which is React Native. Any questions? Okay. So we have something also called the version controls. These version controls will save your code, and whenever you do any changes in the code, it will keep track of it. It's like a history. How is the history of your browser, which keeps the pages that you open, and you can go back to any page that you have missed. The similar thing, if you have a code and you keep changing, whenever you change, a new version of the code will be created. And at any certain time, you can go back to any code, I can say, any code version that you want to go back to it. Because, for example, you have written a code, okay, and it was working fine, then you have changed the code, and for some reason, an issue or bug have happened, and you want, okay, no, wait, I don't want to do this change, let's go back, so you can go back. This is the benefit of having the version controls. It helps you to recall the specific version which you think it's okay for you. So it helps you manage and track modification in code. And if you have a team that was working on the same code, then you can track each member of the team, what he exactly have written. And if there is an issue from a certain team member, then you can go and discuss with him. We have debuggers, as we said before, as I said before, in the integrated development environment, we have debuggers, which is already there, but also it's good sometimes to have an external debugger that will help you to debug the code, and it will help you to set breakpoints or logs or anything that will help you even to discover the issues which is not discovered by you. For example, if you want to launch an application and you want to keep the debugger running, once you have the application running and the user, then you can do this using the debugger system or the software. Any questions? Okay. Okay, so for in the real world application examples that we have today in our world, we have the web development, we have the app development, we have the video games, and we have the AI technologies. I think all of you can recall an example for each of these. Is that correct? Any one of you don't know any category of these categories?
No, we all
All,
know them.
yeah, all none. Okay. So how to get started with the coding? First of all, you need to choose the right language. As I said, Python for me is a beginner-friendly language, and it's widely used, and the documentation is really good. So I prefer that for this week and next week, if we are going to do something, we will do it in Python. Do you have any problem with that?
No.
Okay. So have you, any one of you have used Python? No, I will take that
No.
as
No, I
okay.
don't think any of us have.
Okay. So we can do some examples together. I will try to prepare stuff for you to be able to, and we will set up the IDE together. So what I will need from you in the coming session, that each one of you will have his own device and can download the IDE. So we will go through how to download the IDE, but our next session will be less theory, and we will start downloading an IDE, writing code, and seeing the output. Is that fine with you all?
Yes.
Okay. The second thing to start learning coding is to understand the fundamentals. So we need to understand the fundamentals of the basic programming. We have something called variables, loops, conditions, data structures. All these you usually learn in the university, but I believe that you guys deserve to learn it even earlier, because I can see that the schools nowadays are advancing in all the subjects other than the computer, which is really sad. So I think these concepts can be taught to you and you can use it. And this is what we are going to use hopefully with the Python code. The most important thing after these 2 points is to practice regularly. So I will teach you things, but without practicing yourself, you will not learn. Coding is actually a skill that improves with the practice. So the more you write code, the more you will become better. And the more that you become expert, the more you become aware about the problems, the issues, how to tackle things. So try to code daily, like how you write when you go to the school. When you want to learn the ABCs, they start with ABC, then they let you write words, and they let you write, I can say, stories or whatever. The same concept should be happening with you in your daily life. To learn coding, you need to write a small code every day. There is a platform that will help you to have a challenge every day. And this challenge will need from you just to write a small code. And it will take you less time. It will not be that time. It will not be hectic. At the beginning, maybe it will be hectic because you are just new for coding. But once you start coding and you start getting into the world of coding, it will be easy for you, inshallah. And consistency is the key to progress. If you are consistent to something, then you will progress with it. And you can apply it to anything in life. The most important point after practicing is to do projects. So you can go to any one of your family who wants a project, for example, and he wants you to do it. And okay, you take this challenge and you do the project, or you think of project in the school or whatever. But it's very important to convert the knowledge or the learning that you will learn here to projects, because the project is something that is tackling a real life issue or a real life problem. Once you start writing things that matter, then you will feel the coding more, and it will be more, I can say, more easy for you to understand. And the last point I can mention here, and this is only some of the points that to start with, but there are many points, but these are the most important points for me as of now to mention to you. The last point is to join a community. So you need to be able to code, you need to know people who are coding. So either you join the school club, either you go online like on Stack Overflow, either you go to any platform or any social platform which is having the programmers together, and you start learning from the conversation. So I think we are reaching, I know that I said it will be 3 to 5, but actually I wanted to keep it light this today because it is the first day and I want you to be engaging and I want you to be concentrating with me. So I think we have reached the end of today's session. Okay. How is it? How you feel it? How you think?
I think it's good. Honestly, like from my end, I'm interested a lot,
Okay.
and it's just I know it's gonna take a long time. I think I can speak for all when we say it's gonna take a long time, a lot of
Okay.
motivation to actually get started. But so far, I don't find anything is yeah, with the right support from from you
Okay.
guys, I
Okay.
think we'll pull through it.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I felt like it wasn't too much at first. It wasn't like it was simple at first, the things that you talked about. And I felt like you put it in a very simple way for all of us to understand. So I feel like eventually we'll get the hang of it easily.
Very
That
good.
would be
Very good.
nice.
So
Yeah,
let's, yeah.
it was definitely very simple and like we all understood it in a good way. I just think it needs a lot of time and a lot of effort.
Yeah. So what we can do
And
now, yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, personally speaking, I think, well, just like you said, for choosing the right language, you told us it's
Yeah,
the easiest to
yeah,
choose
yeah,
Python.
yeah.
So as of right now, I think once we get familiar with Python, personally, I'm gonna start Talklet and start practicing.
Oh,
But what we wanna say, or what I want to say at least, is that after these 2 weeks of us with these like 3 hour Zoom sessions, I think it's better if we take it lightly. You know, we take it on the side because we have school and
yeah,
everything
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
we
No,
can
no, yeah, yeah, for
focus.
sure, for sure, for sure. This is
Yeah,
this was the
and then we can
agreement even.
focus on it.
Yeah, yeah. This was the
Yeah.
agreement. So, well, we are just going to do these 2 weeks. I need you to just be with me in these 2 weeks, understand it, grasp it, and just keep it on the side. And once we reach June, inshallah, then we will be more, I can say, having time, and then inshallah we can work hard on the apps idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
from my side, I think this is it for today. Let me just stop the recording. What I wanted to share with you that tomorrow, inshallah,